Okay, we are live. First of all, I am so sorry, everyone. We just had a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's what happens when we're doing virtual events, right? Technical difficulties happen and we just have to roll with it. I also understand that there was a bit of difficulty with Colin's workshop, but I will do a special request for Colin so that we can have the replay available to everyone who registered for the event. That's what happens when we're doing virtual events, right? Everyone on, I'm going to mute everyone here. I also understand that there was a bit of difficulty with Colin's workshop. Can you please mute yourselves? Okay, thank you. Okay, first, thank you for joining us on our government information panel. I would like for you to meet the people who are here to enlighten us. So let's start with Brooke. Brooke, please tell everyone who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brooke Gordon, and my role at BDC, the Business Development Bank of Canada, is the Senior Advisor for Women Entrepreneurs. So my role at the bank is quite literally to meet with women entrepreneurs like yourselves and find out if there's anything I can do to help you grow your business. Another part of my role is I have almost 100 champions all across Ontario and all across Canada who are men and women who've put their hand up to say, I want to do more for women entrepreneurs. So as you can probably imagine, working for a bank that's our sole shareholder is the Government of Canada, communications and internal communications is a large part of my role there as well. So making sure that all of our champions are informed about the different programs that are available through our partners, through the community, and that way we are able to help make sure that they're able to share that information on with all of their contacts as well. And then the last part of my job is collaborating and staying in touch with the wonderful women on this panel and with Dwania and others to make sure that we are also know what's happening in the community and what's going on. So it's not just about communicating that internally within the bank, but making sure that we also are just aware and vice versa. So sort of three parts to the role overall. And hands down, I would have to say one of my favorite highlights of my whole career. I'm trained as an engineer. My background, I've been an entrepreneur myself. I've also been in charge of operational, as an operations executive director. And so huge ability to sort of just connect with businesses and find out a little bit more about what they do. Other things to know about me, fun fact, I've been teaching at McMaster University for the Faculty of Engineering for about 11 years now, and had such a great experience at my very first virtual conference ever was with Dwania back in April, and had recommended this platform onto them because that was so easy to use and so much fun. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here on the other side of the stage.
Awesome, thank you, Brooke. Dolores. Just so you know you're muted, just unmute yourself and then you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dwania, invited all of us. I'm Dolores Sui. I'm from Acquisition Branch within Public Service and Procurement Canada. My office is called, I'm here representing from the acquisition purchasing point of view. For us, my department already set a goal. We want to increase women business into the federal procurement as much as possible. We set a goal as 15% in the next 5 years. So we're not there yet. So we're push and try to educate our internal buyers, and outside we engage more suppliers, let everyone know there's a tremendous opportunity in the federal market. So please consider and come to give a try. So that's me. I work with government for 15 years, I guess. So I still feel like that's so fast passing by, but okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Dolores. Jennifer.
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here today. My name is Jennifer Cook, and I'm the corporate lead for Women in Trade at Export Development Canada, otherwise known as EDC. We're the sister company to the Business Development Bank of Canada, so Brooke and I work together a lot. What else I could say is that I was an entrepreneur in my previous life, and so really enjoy connecting with business owners and understanding their challenges, particularly as they relate to selling their goods and services outside of Canada. And we'll get into a little bit more about what Export Development Canada can do to support you and help you as you grow your business as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Franca. Remember to unmute yourself, Franca. Okay.
There we go. Now you can hear me,
Yeah.
I think. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. I'm excited to be here working with Dwania again. We've worked on many events with Dwania. Basically, I'll let you know that I'm with Small Business Services of FedDev Ontario.
Franca,
So the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario. But we predate that agency.
Franca, can you please close your other browser because you're echoing? You have the other browser open. And then unmute yourself because I muted you. Franca, can you please close your other browser because you're echoing? You have the other browser.
That's what was happening. Sorry. Thank you, everyone. And sorry about that. Thank you. So I'm with Small Business Services, which is a section with the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario. We've gone through over the years different iterations of our names. We used to be with Industry Canada prior to 2013. The agency has been around since 2009 only, but what used to be Canada Business Ontario, and before that Canada Ontario Business Service Centre, that's who we are, and we've been around since 1995. So a lot of people don't know about us. So I work in the section of the outreach and partnerships, and basically our role is to go out and let people know that we exist. And basically what we are is an information unit to help people navigate all the information on business programs and services, as well as requirements and legislation and so on, for running a business in Ontario. So what we do is provide a website with a wealth of information, as well as a call-in call center where people can call and speak to an information agent one-on-one, and email us or visit the website, but call us as well to get kind of a detailed specialized package according to what you and your business might be able to take advantage of, or what you might need, or what you should be aware of. We also have a small secondary marketing research service that we provide for free. So whatever is related to your business or yourself, depending on where you are in Ontario, we will send out that packaged information that already exists. So we have some access to government and other reputable organization information. So Stats Canada, Industry Canada, but also others, sample business plans that package will put together for you. And send that to you for free. So it's information, obviously, that's already out there, but help you to build your business plan and to look at competition. So I'll leave it there.
Thanks, so we're just going to go around a little bit, and because you already really dive into what FedDev does. So we're going to dive into what the other angles do as well. So Brooke, do you want to tell us what BDC does?
Absolutely. So we are the Bank for Canadian Entrepreneurs. We are a Crown Corporation, and so BDC is sort of in a little bit unusual. We play what's called a complementary role. So I'll tell you the things that we don't do just for context. So we don't do bank accounts or credit cards or lines of credit, but what we do offer is the ability to have financing for special projects, working capital for when you grow. We do have an entire venture capital arm, including a Women in Technology Fund. We offer advisory services. So there's an entire consulting side to BDC, which is actually where I used to work before I started in this role. So we do have quite a broad range that way. And what's different about us relative to some of the other banks as well is that our sole shareholder is the Government of Canada. So we're sort of in an unusual place where we actually operate at no cost to the Canadians. We don't borrow, we don't have money that way. Although for these past few months, we have been playing an active role in the support of the government programs, rolling those out. But generally speaking, we are the bank for Canadian entrepreneurs. At a very high level, that's sort of the three things that we do.
Thank you. Dolores, do you want to tell us what your branch does?
Thank you, Dwania. My office, we have a name called Office of Small Medium Enterprises. We're the only frontline employee across Canada can actually work with the industry association and also individual supplier business. We have 6 offices across Canada. We have a small team. Like for example, my Ontario office, we only have 4 people. Other corresponding regional office, they have a similar kind of a group. We in the daily basis, we help supplier provide them with a training, one-on-one consultation to teach them about the fundamental knowledge on how to sell to government. We also work with the industry association for government and major procurement, national big procurement initiative like fighter jet, and also shipbuilding strategies. So something comes of billion-dollar size, we help industry get engaged to do the work. Yeah, so also we're here to reduce barrier. If you actually come to our market, participated, see something you don't like, we are the one actually analyze the data, collecting them. We have a network within government can help you instead of tell you, oh, just see the lawyer and find out some court decision. No, we have a better channel to help you. Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Thank you, Dolores. Jennifer, tell us what EDC does for entrepreneurs.
So thanks, Dwania. Export Development Canada, like BDC, is also a Crown Corporation. We're the second of 3 financial Crown corporations of the federal government, but our role is specifically designed to support Canadian companies to grow and sell outside of Canada. And I say that because a lot of people don't really relate to the word exporting. And I really want to emphasize, there's a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people think that exporting is really just for companies that manufacture a good and, that you can put in a box or put in a container and drive across the border or put in a ship and to sail across the sea to another market. But more and more and more today in Canada, we are exporters of services. Yes, you can sell your services outside of Canada as well, and that's considered exporting. So there's lots of different ways of exporting. And one of the other misconceptions is that Export Development Canada only helps really large companies. And that's not true either. So Export Development Canada helps any Canadian company that is selling goods or services to somebody outside of Canada. And we do that in really 3 main ways. It starts by providing specialized, up-to-date international insights to help companies take advantage of opportunities abroad. It's really valuable information and knowledge to help inform your planning and your export strategies when you're starting out and when you're looking to expand into new markets. We offer a number of different tools, which are all offered free of charge in terms of, we have an export help hub that answers questions, export advisors that can advise and give you different types of information relating to export markets. Anything to do with trade, we can answer those questions or point you in the right direction. We offer education and training. EDC is partnered with different organizations like the Toronto, started with the Toronto Region Board of Trade, but is now offered through World Trade Centers across Canada for the Trade Accelerator Program, which helps companies develop an export plan. We also have a partnership with the Forum for International Trade Training, where you can get access to modules, education in different forms, either longer courses or short ebooks to get up to speed on different aspects of international trade. And then comes the traditional stuff, the risk mitigation, mostly in the form of credit insurance to help companies make sure that they get paid when they're selling to customers outside of Canada, and different financing solutions, everything from equity to loan guarantees to help companies access the capital they need to grow. That's kind of it in a nutshell, Dwania.
Awesome. So I have a question. I know the burning question for a lot of entrepreneurs is, how do we get money? We need money. It's always capital, right? So what is BDC doing to help Canadian entrepreneurs? How can they get a piece of their pie, as they would like to say?
So that's a really good question. And at BDC, if you can believe it, back in 2015, we made it a priority to support the growth and success of women entrepreneurs at every step of their business. And one of the things that we found was only 28% of all entrepreneurs are women, and only 16% are majority owned by women. And our goal is to see that percentage change. And we are a development bank, so we're more than just banking. We also want to make sure that women entrepreneurs are able to really tap into the potential, the full potential that they have. And so we're really proud of the fact we were one of the first banks to make that commitment. And so, yes, absolutely. Financing is a huge part of it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. We also look at the consideration of business strategies as well, key resources, mentorship, and networks. And so in terms of being able to access the capital, there's a couple of the pieces that go along with that. And underneath that is really developing strong competencies and skills, particularly around financial management, so that when you come to talk to your banker, you're able to have a really strong conversation with them to know what it is that you need, have a vision for the business, a plan for the business, so that your BDC account manager can say, I absolutely see where you're going with this, and I'm going to help you figure out how to get there. So that's a part of it. And so as we continue to work with women entrepreneurs, the two things that we've really tried to focus on at BDC is we do offer funding for specific projects. We also offer, as I mentioned before, working capital for growth projects. That's another piece that we do. That's through our growth and transition capital team. If you can believe, we now have, because of everything that's happened with the pandemic, we actually now our online financing we've really managed to ramp that up behind the scenes to make sure that you can actually apply online for financing at BDC for up to $100,000 if you qualify. So there's a lot of different ways to be able to access that capital and start that conversation. But if I can, Dwania, the one thing that I do want to say is really having that conversation early when you start to think about having financing and thinking about the different ways to finance. Because one of the things that I have realized is that there are opportunities for women where, many women that I meet, they say, oh, I've mortgaged my house, or, I cashed in all of my RRSPs to be able to make this business grow. And it's very admirable. And it really shows a strong dedication. But at the same time, when you go to talk to your banker and they're going to say, okay, well, show me a little bit more about, and sometimes we'll ask the question, show me a little bit about your personal net worth. And then they say, well, I don't have any anymore. And so then it becomes a really difficult conversation. And what we do recommend is to come back and have that conversation a little bit earlier. Let's work with you and figure out how can we help you to maximize all of the assets that you have. That access to capital also means leveraging the capital assets that you have. So it's a bit of a different conversation that we tried to have with our partners, with our clients and our prospects. The other thing I want to say is, and Jen mentioned that we are sister corporations, and so there's also a few other programs that are in place. We have partnerships with EDC around being able to have purchase order financing. It's one of the examples. We also have partnerships with Futurepreneur, who we met earlier today, and they mentioned that, that's a way for, if you are in, between 18 to 39 and you're looking at starting up your business, that's a great opportunity where they're the ones who are going to be supporting you with that mentorship, with that business planning phase. But then BDC kind of comes in alongside and behind to support the loan, but we're not the ones actively working on the loan application. We also have a few other partners in the community as well. So at every stage along the business, right from that early DIY, I want to bootstrap, I'm going to do a little bit of maybe service to bring in some income to just sort of go through that bit of a cycle, loads of tools available in our Entrepreneurs Toolkit, all for free. Our resource library is actually so big, it can be a little bit hard to navigate, but the Entrepreneur Toolkit is the thing to look for. And then the other piece is, as you start to think through what it is that you want to do and how you want to do that, I can't recommend more strongly to come and have a conversation early, before you need the money, while you're thinking about the project, and let us have that conversation with you then, so we can help you structure what it is that you need and how you can position yourself to have a better conversation. And on that note, we do actually have a free webinar in our academy on the toolkit, basically on how to talk to your banker. So Dwania, I'll make sure that you get the link to that one.
Yes, please. Thank you. So Dolores, a lot of times people are either really happy to do business with the government or not happy. But as you can see from one of our pictures that we just had, Bessie Box, she's really excited about the ability to be able to partner with someone who now will have a government contract. So how do you know if your business or service is good for the government?
Very good question. I think this is something fundamental for people to start, just to find out, although federal government, we buy on average $22 billion worth of goods and services in a year, but such a big market, whether there's a small piece for you, definitely. First of all, I think people should go to our tender website, buyandsell.gc.ca website. You go to the site and do some keyword search for your business. Based on your industry and your company's size, you look at what actually comes up. For some industries, certain commodity, you will see large volume contract going through in a year. That means there's a tons of opportunities, but certain products, you don't see that many. So that will have indication whether we buy often from your kind of industry. So that will be a good start for you to understand whether we actually actively looking for. For example, I help some company, they're interested to sell toys. But when we did a search on buy and sell, we don't have many of those activities going on. So I guess for those kind of business, we might not be a very good potential buyer. But for the others, a lot of professional services or a lot of goods, just like, for example, food, event management, just long list of things we buy, all kind of construction work, you name it. So I can quickly, for example, I can tell you, we have a federal prison. All the prisoners need to eat, they need to get education, they need kind of mental health assessment, and they need to dress, they have to have a quilt and pillow, and we have a militaries. All these troops, those peoples, they need a training. They like everyone else. They need to eat properly. Then we have a national highway need to get maintained. Transport Canada has a tons of work across Canada. We have all the national parks need landscaping, need a road opening up, build a new visitor centers, campsite renovation, a lot of work. So I have even mentioned about tons of government building we have, all the bridges we own. So yeah, so you can tell tons of work. But search, buy, and sell, that's a very good starting point to see whether we actually buy your kind of goods and services.
Thank
you. Contact my office.
I actually put the link in the stage chat, and I also put the email address for her office in the stage chat. And I have to say that we have been doing business with OSME for quite a few years. So look at that.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, This is a two-parter for you. Two-parter. Why is it important for women entrepreneurs to think about exporting, and what are some of the challenges that they face?
It's super important for all entrepreneurs, but especially for women entrepreneurs to consider exporting. The number one reason is because companies that export are less risky. They tend to be larger and grow faster because you're able to access customers, many more customers. For example, if we look at just the countries that that Canada has free trade agreements with, it's access to 1.5 billion more customers in the world. And who doesn't want more customers? So, you know, exporting allows companies to diversify so that they're better able to manage the ebbs and flows of, you know, if one market is not doing so well, if you're diversified, you can pick up in other markets. So, you know, there's been lots of studies to show that businesses that export have more revenue, they're more innovative, and they stay in business longer. And so, you know, many of the Canadian women entrepreneurs are doing really innovative things and solving some of the world's biggest problems. So, you know, it's really important that we share those with the world. You know, when it comes to challenges, I think women do face barriers like many small and medium-sized businesses face. You know, there's always the access to capital challenge. And I think Brooke nailed it on the head when she said often I think women don't necessarily think about tools like taking on debt to grow faster. Sure, you might be able to bootstrap your way to growth, but you know, the idea of taking on some debt can help you achieve your goals faster. And a lot of organizations, financial institutions are now really focused on providing more capital for women entrepreneurs. So access to capital, I think, is getting easier. There's still room for growth, but it is getting easier. You know, when we think of other challenges, it comes to networks and making sure that women have access to the right networks to help them grow their business. You know, when it comes to growing your business and accessing new markets, it's important to think about who can help you. You know, today is a good start because you've got 5 organizations around in this conversation, all of whom can help you to access new markets. But there's also many others in the ecosystem that can support you. So it's important to reach out and find out who those people are that can help you along the way. You don't have to do it alone. Those would be the main things that I would say.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Franca, what are some of the most common questions you get at FedDev? Oh, you're muted, Franca. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm not on my technological A game today. Anyways, I don't work in the call center, but I am an outreach officer. So I'm there face to face with people like I am today. And I do know from the call center as well. And it's like you said, Dwania, it's where can I get some financing? So a lot of times I like to first clarify that there's financing and funding, and then there are grants. Because a lot of times business people or the general public might be talking about money that doesn't need to be paid back, and those are grants. And I always start off by telling them that those are very few and far between. But if they exist, if they call us, we will tell them exactly where they are, who's giving the money, and how to apply for it. So that's one thing. But once we get past the grants and that information that we give and find anything that might be available for some people, we do move over into the financing. We talk about BDC a lot. It's one of the first things we recommend to people, probably the number one thing for financing. And then we talk about, if we talk about growing or financing for exporting, because sometimes that's what they're looking for, EDC is another huge partner government organization that we also recommend. And of course, Dolores, we work very closely with all three agencies or organizations, but as well, we try to grow and help them get some income by doing business with the government if that's something they want to get into. So financing, I think, is the most probably requested, and we've talked a lot about that. But then there is also, which EDC and BDC and also in Dolores's shop do as well, because all of these, setting up a business, there's a lot of work to do, and we can help, and there's a lot of government services out there, even just to help and consult. But that's the other thing we probably find is that people are looking for some mentorship or some consultation as well. So of course we work with, like I said, the BDC, EDC, and OSME. But a lot of times our second thing outside of the federal government is we always suggest to people to go to a small business enterprise center in their community in Ontario, wherever they are, or a community for futures development corporation office, and they're part also of federal government, but then the SBECs are part of the Ontario Ministry, because as you know, like the others on this panel, we deal with the federal programs and services and financing and so on, but we also like to deal directly with the Ontario specific information and programs and services. Because of the way that we organize regionally across the country. So those are our partners. They do walk-in and they do consultation. So those are the two main, I think, sides that we deal with. First, top two, and then there are others. Yeah.
Thank you. In the interest of time, because I know we are a little bit all over the place, is there anything, I guess I just want to do it round robin style, that you would like to leave us with in terms of action items that entrepreneurs can do right now, how they can reach you? I've been putting some links in the chats. I'm just checking the stage chat at the same time, how they can reach you, if there are any programs that you are launching, if there are any programs that you feel they should look at right now in order to help them with their business. Because I know, especially for example, BDC, you have been pummeled with applications lately. But yeah, I'll start with you.
Okay, so if you can believe it, Dwania, we are on top of the applications. There was a period of time when it was, I'll be honest and just say it was a little overwhelming. Even for myself, I was actually part of our inbound call center. We were all redeployed to support where we could. And so delighted to be back in the role, but also for the training that I received while I was there. So my last thoughts. BDC, we made a commitment more than 3 years ago to double the funding that was available to women. And we set a very ambitious target of $1.4 billion. And if you can believe it, we have reached that target early. And so we are now in the process of setting another audacious goal for ourselves. We've also been looking to expand our overall diversity strategy. So I'm very excited with the recent announcement of my supervisor, Laura Diddick's expanded role to the VP of Client Diversity. And the other piece that I think, the two things that would be really important for me to share with everyone here in terms of action steps. The very first one is BDC also has a resource guide specifically for women entrepreneurs. We are coast to coast to coast. And so we have one for Vancouver, or I would say British Columbia, one for Quebec, and then one for Southern Ontario. But with everything having gone virtual, I would say that almost all of those resources are now available anywhere and all across the country, which is a wonderful change. So I'll definitely include the link to that. That's at bdc.ca/woman, which is a great resource. The other thing that I would say in terms of programs, there's one that is actually just starting this week. We have had a great partnership with Women of Influence, and there has been the What Now series, which was a great series of inspiring articles of women entrepreneurs, their pivot stories, how they've come through the COVID and their perspective and how it's affected their business and the changes that they made, just to give some illustrations about different things that are happening. But then on the flip side to that is, okay, well, now what? How do I make that happen for me? And so we've changed that next series from What Now to What Next. And that is launching for free. And that is available to any woman or any entrepreneur who identifies as a woman to be able to access. And it's a series of all the hot topics, everything that would be normally covered, from a consulting perspective. So your HR, your operations, your strategy, your finances, your marketing and revenue strategy, all of it's there, all of it's for free. So I definitely recommend taking a look at that. Again, that's the Women of Influence What Next series. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things that we have on the go. And I just want to say my final words with wishing everyone here on the call a very happy but belated Women Entrepreneurship Day, which was this past Thursday, November the 19th. So I'll leave it there. And Dwania, thank you again for having me today.
Thank you, Brooke. Dolores?
For us, we have many fantastic training sessions available across Canada on various topics on how to sell, like fundamentally 2 hours, teach you the process, how to do it, and also on like how to understand the federal government tender document, understand the terms, condition. As a bidder, you want to provide a bid, how should respond. All those very good training for you to learn and in order to do it better. We are also in the process to build up a pilot program just for women entrepreneurs to help them to feel more comfortable to get on this journey to sell to government. So this is coming along. So we have other programs, like right now we're running some pilot in NHQ, just to help underrepresented company to get better opportunity, get better exposed to government department in order to tap on those contracts. So many things happening. Just contact my office. I just posted our contact information in the chat. Come to see us, and we can find some more customized step 1, 2, 3 for you. Okay, thank you, Dwania. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dolores. Jennifer.
Wonderful. Well, in final words for me, I think what I'd like to encourage all the entrepreneurs with us today is to really just dream big, think where can you go and take your business, and what are the opportunities in different markets beyond our borders, because there's a lot of support available to help you. I would suggest, really taking a strategic planning approach. Sometimes it might seem scary, but as I say, there's many people that are here and willing to help you plan through what could be the challenges and the risks, but also help you figure out how to mitigate them and take advantage of opportunities in international markets. It's really not as hard as you think. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. And we all really need to understand now is the time, because borders they've really fallen right now because we've been forced to do a lot of things virtually. So this is actually the time to start thinking of how you can expand.
Well, and just to add finally to that point, Dwania, you raised a really good point that technology and the rise of technology has really opened up the door for entrepreneurs to access new markets, right? If you've started, because of this pandemic, adopting an e-commerce platform or expanding your e-commerce platform, that gives you access to customers all around the world. And so, technology today is really, really enabling us to venture beyond our borders. Absolutely. So take advantage.
Awesome. Thank you. Franca, any final words?
I'll just reiterate again that we would love for you to get in touch with us, just so that we can help in any way we can. We're there really our goal and our hope and what we work towards is just helping not just women, but all entrepreneurs succeed. We know when small business succeeds, Ontario and Canada succeed. Small business is a huge part of the economy. So again, I put my the website and the phone number. Please take a look at what we have. Use anything that you can. Give us a call. Get the other information available only through the telephone. And for anyone who's in business, just to also, I'll just say in closing, check out www.canada.ca as well. Just to look at what's happening with COVID and if there are any programs and services that are there. They're constantly being updated. If anyone needs some help or is looking for something and they might be able to access some programs going on, please do that often. So again, thank you and best of luck and best of health and prosper. Hopefully into 2021, where we'll all be able to see each other at some point again. Thank you.
Fingers crossed on that one. Thank you so much. So ladies, thank you very much. What I will do is I will get these links. I will have to go through the chat. I will get these links to everyone. I will send out an email Monday noonish. I'm not going to promise morning, noonish Eastern time with the contact information for all the pitchers, for all the speakers, and for all the session hosts so that you know where to find them. You can contact them to ask them any questions. And yeah, thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Bye.